friend of mine who is a phenomenal pasta maker was a great teacher and taught me how to make tortellini.
Hello and welcome to Making It Artisan Stories. I'm Linda Marie Colon and we're cooking up something extra special this episode with Passionately Pasta's Nick Imbriglio. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
And you are a Wallingford resident.
I am through and through.
And I want to hear all about the journey because we're going to talk about handmade pasta today using local ingredients, artisan style with special shapes that come from the heart. And I want to hear everything from culinary school, and let's go way back because you are an alum of Wallingford Public Schools.
Yes, I am.
All right, so tell us everything, Nick.
Well, it all started off going to Rock Hill School as a youngster, and then went to Dag Hammarskjöld.
Mm-hmm.
And in Lyman Hall, it wasn't until my junior year where I found a true passion for cooking. I decided to enroll in the culinary program, and my father, who is a very good cook, can be difficult to please with cooking sometimes.
Okay.
And my senior year, I made a stir fry. So I brought the stir fry home, and he ate the stir fry, and he talked to me about it, and he goes, you know, kid, you might have something here in the culinary career.
Okay.
From there, I decided to continue to pursue and push, and I signed up for Gateway Community College to start.
Nice.
I went through the culinary program through there. I graduated with a food service management and hotel management.
Oh, very nice.
Thank you. And then I decided that the next step would be to get the business aspect down. So I really wanted to go to Johnson & Wales.
Okay.
And Gateway and Johnson & Wales have a partnership program with accreditation.
Mm-hmm.
So I figured I could cut my tuition in half by going to Johnson & Wales and getting my bachelor's through there.
Okay.
It took me about 2.5 years at Johnson & Wales, and I continued to love what I did and continue to work in the field. I graduated with a bachelor's in food service management and culinary.
Oh, that's wonderful.
So with a study of sommelier. So I learned a little bit about wine.
A little bit of wine.
And
Okay.
all sorts of spirits and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
When I graduated, I continued down the path of cooking and working in restaurants. And, you know, at the time I thought, oh, being an executive chef or owning my own restaurant would be something that I would absolutely love doing.
Sure.
Not knowing that a friend of mine who is a phenomenal pasta maker was a great teacher and taught me how to make tortellini for the first time.
Oh, so handmade tortellini.
Handmade tortellini.
Ooh, my favorite.
Yep. Egg dough from scratch and flour and, you know, I realized the amount of attention that you needed to put into the pasta. Studies were not always my strong suit, but something that I can focus on my hands and be meticulous with was something I excelled at, and I fell in love with pasta making that day 78 years ago. From there, it became this giant journey of finding out what pasta shape I could make next or make the dough better or something like that. And I didn't realize how far in depth I was going up until about a couple years ago when someone suggested to me that the only way to make your pasta better was to grind your own flour.
Oh, okay.
I started investing in grain mills and stuff like that, just like the one here.
That's a grain mill. You're taking some local ingredients?
I am. So I get my grain from 4-Star Farms in Massachusetts.
Okay.
And although that seems like a little bit of a hike away, they are the closest as far as having a non-GMO grain.
Oh, that's huge.
Yes, it is.
And non-GMO.
Yes.
That's big.
And the grain itself is called warthog wheat. And I found that warthog wheat was something that I started to connect with immensely with my pasta doughs. And it contains this very sweet and nutty kind of smell that not only is like on the nose, but it also transfers into the pasta itself.
It retains it.
It does. It's not huge. It's not like a massive, like in-your-face noticeable ordeal, but it's subtle enough that it does make quite a bit of difference in the pasta itself.
So the undertones are there and they sustain through the boiling process and then whatever sauce you choose to layer on.
100%. From, you know, the point of grinding my own flour and sifting it and making it, I started to really fall in love with the process even more so. And a couple very close friends are farmers, and I was cooking them dinner one night with my homemade pasta. They had suggested to me that I might have something as far as a pasta business is concerned, because if I could create something to give to the public that's as natural and as handmade as this, it could be something special. I didn't really think of it as a business at that point, but I did want to make people exceptionally happy with my product. I was spending quite a bit of money investing into just making pasta and kind of giving it away. And
I was going to say, because you have some interesting pieces of machinery, I'm going to call it, that look like they attach to the Kitchenaid.
Yes,
am I right?
Yes, 100%.
And it looks like a pretty big investment.
It is. You know, the funny thing is that it is a big investment. It's definitely not the largest investment I've made for this. These two are part of a 3-set that I received from the Kitchenaid pasta making kit, and phenomenal. They are kind of like the backbone to what I had started years and years ago. So I've had these guys for about 5 years, and they still work perfectly fine. I still use them at home to make pasta. The beautiful thing about it is that I can make my egg dough, which is made with local eggs as well.
So for all the locavores out there, these ingredients that are going into the handmade pasta, can I ask, are you finding local eggs?
Absolutely. Andrew's Farm, right there in Connecticut.
Nice.
Their eggs are exceptional. They're refrigerated. It's actually on the farm that I volunteer on throughout the summertime.
Oh, so you do volunteer work?
I do. I try to keep myself as busy as possible.
Well, you sound busy, yes. So you volunteer at a farm?
Yep. Muddy Roots Farm in Wallingford.
Oh, we do know Muddy Roots Farm. Okay, great.
Phenomenal people, very hardworking individuals. Their practices as far as farming is what made me fall in love with them. Not just because they have 2 awesome dogs that I love being around all day long. They're genuinely hardworking, good people, and I decided if I was going to make a stand in anything was to help the local, the businesses out, and they were one that I was attracted to.
So you work in ingredients from their farm?
Absolutely. Squash season's coming up, winter squash season, squash made raviolis will be something I might put on the menu.
Let's talk about what kind of handmade pastas. Absolutely. Are they just shapes, or what can we expect to see? I have gone through your photo albums on Facebook, and Instagram definitely has me pulled in. So let's share with the audience what all goes into making these handmade pastas. Obviously, great ingredients to start with.
Yes, great ingredients is definitely the key to making phenomenal pasta. That and having 100-year-old grandmothers that know how to make pasta and make pasta better than I do on a daily basis. I actually watched a lot of YouTube videos and books for.
So you've learned from the best?
Absolutely. Learn from the best, even though they don't know who I am. But I have to give them credit where credit's due, because without them, none of this is possible. And I have to say, the Italians have mastered the way that you can capture sauce in their pasta, and that comes with different shapes, sizes, and everything. So some of these shapes, obviously your basic tortellini or your ravioli are ones that I do make, but I also dove deeper and wanted to know what other beautiful shapes were out there.
Sure. Non-traditional, or at least mainstream.
Absolutely. Non-traditional as far as mainstream, but very traditional from the regions that they're from.
Right.
One of the ones that I enjoy making immensely is called Agnolotti del Pin, and it's a little pouch pasta that you usually stuff with like pork or vegetable, but I do it with cheese as well for people that aren't meat eaters or want something simple. But the one that I've fallen in love with is probably the most difficult to make, and it's called the Culurgiones. Culurgiones is a traditional Sardinian-style pasta in Italy that represents a grain of wheat. It's very unique in its shape and its look, and when I came across it, I first came across it in a book, and I was like, that's the pasta I want to learn how to make. Well, I didn't have a grandmother that knew how to make it, and I watched as many videos as I could, and for about a year and a half, it took me countless hours of watching these videos to get the pasta done correctly.
Now, why so difficult?
So it's the way that the pasta is held, it's the thickness of the filling itself.
Okay.
And you kind of have to hold it like a taco in some cases. and where you have to pinch the back end,
Okay.
and then you fold the pinches up, and each of the pinches represents one of those little grains of wheat that looks like it comes out to be a wheat stalk.
So it's actually mirroring a wheat stalk
Yes.
right down to the flour
Yep.
and part of it. And
Yep.
this is all done by hand.
All done by hand. Each and every single one is made by hand.
No little tools, no cheating.
No, unfortunately, they don't have a Cooler Jonas machine like this for the Kitchenaid. When it comes to my homemade pastas and the stuffed pastas, each one is made by hand.
Mm-hmm.
There's no excuses. There's nothing that I can cheat to make it. I make it by hand, and it's very much a labor of love.
Yeah, it definitely sounds like some great ingredients go into the recipe, non-GMO, local farm provided, and then lots of love. That's the name, Passionately Pasta. Tell me a little bit about how your skills have transferred over, because besides giving back to the community through volunteering at Muddy Roots Farms, you're also in our local high school, Lyman Hall.
I am. About 15 years ago, before I graduated Lyman Hall High School, when I got into cooking, I had a teacher named Mrs. Drosopoulos, who is a phenomenal teacher. She's a wonderful human being, and she's passionate about what she does as well, too. I give her the credit for giving me my start in the sense of finding what I wanted to do in my life. So for the last couple of years, I decided that it was meaningful for me to give back and try and help her, because her program, it was this small classroom when I was there, has now expanded out into food trucks for the Taste of Wallingford, and
I've patronized that truck. Yeah, they're doing phenomenal.
And the kids are phenomenal, and she does a wonderful job teaching the kids, and not just teaching them about cooking, but life skills as well.
Sure.
I think that's important. What attracted me back to helping her out and volunteering was the fact that I wanted to give her back something that she so deserved. And that was a peace of mind. If she's over here in one corner dealing with 5 or 6 students, then at least she has somebody that she knows that can help the students with cooking
and keep things moving
and
in
prepping and
class.
stuff like that, or if they had questions. I love dealing with the kids. I love helping her out and feeling a sense of accomplishment and helping students find their way in life too. Because I wish that somebody besides her was there to give me some guidance in the direction I wanted to go in.
Well, she sounds like an amazing mentor, and now you're giving back, so you've come full circle.
It is, yeah.
Like a ravioli.
Yeah. Yes, it is.
What else can you tell me about the pastas? So you have quite a bit of following, I've noticed, on Facebook and Instagram.
Yep.
And it looks like you have created all different types of pasta. Do you deal with squid ink? Do you do a spinach base? Do you mix in ingredients besides traditional flavored pasta with your egg dough?
I do. I love playing around with flavors. I do have a squid ink fettuccine that I do.
Oh, you do?
I do.
Okay, nice.
And that can transfer into raviolis. I leave the flavored stuff as a special order because purchasing and making certain ingredients can be quite expensive at times.
Sure.
And unfortunately, thinking of it as a business owner, it's difficult. I wish I could make these things without having to worry about them spoiling.
To cut out the waste or extra inventory, you'll take special orders. So there is that black garlic that you like to tell me about that and tell our viewers.
Black garlic is a fermented garlic. I actually learned about this a couple of years ago at one of my restaurants I worked in, which was a phenomenal restaurant. The chef is very, very talented. And when I first had black garlic, it was in this creme fraiche he did at a carrot dish. And I realized that it was super sweet and had this like maltiness to it, and this super nice garlic, almost roasted garlic flavor. And I was intrigued by it. And when I started working there for him, I learned about fermented black garlic, where you take it and traditionally you put it into a rice cooker that has a rack underneath it, so there's airflow underneath, and you let it sit for about 6 to 8 weeks, and you're constantly spraying it with a little water.
Okay.
There is another way that you can create a fermentation chamber, which is a chamber that is like a styrofoam container with a little reptile heating pad and a temperature control gauge on the outside for about, $75. And what you do is you take it and you vac seal the garlic in a bag, and you put it right in the fermentation chamber, and you forget about it.
Really?
Yep, it's like a rotisserie chicken almost. So you set it and forget it. In about 6 to 8 weeks, you'll start to see it'll start changing color and start bringing out the natural sugars in garlic. And with those sugars, it'll start to turn black. It's this beautiful molassesy black color.
Nice.
And you use it in pastas.
You just mix it into the egg dough, or you...
I actually chop it up and I'll fold it in. Like sometimes when I do the colorgiones, which traditionally is a potato and cheese filling.
Okay.
I'll do a potato and black garlic filling.
Oh, wow.
Which is nice and flavorful.
Sounds amazing.
Yes, it really is. It's wonderful. Artisanal crafted pasta is not something you come across very often nowadays.
You don't. And locally, we're so lucky you're right here in Wallingford.
Yes.
What are the popular ones? Do you sell out? Is there big demand around the holidays, or is it all year round? And what's everyone's favorite?
The one that actually is selling quite a bit right now is the colorgiones.
Yeah.
And it's fun because I think one of the selling points of that pasta is that nobody knows what it really is until I talk to them about it. When people are interested in the pasta itself, I think it makes them say, this is something different. This is something I'd like to try. Because when you go to a market, you know, and you see the beautiful vegetables or you see the beautiful crafts or something like that, you're there for something different. You want to support locally, but you want to intrigue yourself into something that's new.
And it seems like there's a mystique tied to this particular one.
I didn't think that it was going to take off as well as it has.
Right, yeah.
And I've probably made close to about 800 this summer alone.
Have you really?
Yes. As time consuming as it is, the demand is there, and I will keep making it because I love making it. That one's a big seller. Tortellini and ravioli, something that people are familiar with, will always sell. I'm doing an egg dough fettuccine this week. I'm keeping it nice and simple for the noodle fans out there.
I'm sure there's plenty of those.
Oh yeah. If people are vegan, my extruded dough is just flour and water.
That's great to know.
Yes.
So there is something for the vegan.
And I do have a gluten-free dumpling that I can make for people that need to eat gluten-free.
Absolutely. So gluten-free eaters can enjoy passionately pasta. You have something for everyone.
What I wanted is that if I was going to make pasta for people, I also had to come with the expectation that I wanted to make something that everybody could enjoy. When I started the business and I started selling, people were like, do you have gluten-free? And unfortunately, I didn't have gluten-free right off the bat. I wanted something that if it was to be artisanal, you know, crafted like what I do, I wanted to be as close to artisanally crafted as well for them to enjoy something maybe different as well. It's an egg dough, the dumplings for the gluten-free. I use the King Arthur or gluten-free flour, and I found, you know, a recipe online that I feel after adding a few things here and there really reflects something that I'm proud to sell to potential fans and followers that deserve it.
The choices are limited when you are on a gluten-free diet, and as well if you choose vegan.
Absolutely.
You want to
enjoy
your meals, and this is amazing because you have something for everyone, literally.
And I respect people that go down the road of vegan or vegetarianism.
Certainly.
I have a lot of friends that are vegan. When I tell them that I have this artisanally made pasta that's an extruded dough and not handcrafted, it's pushed through a die, I want them to enjoy something as well.
Of course. Well, what a great way to be all-inclusive. This one is angel hair.
Yes, it is.
How long do these last? Like, does this go right in the fridge?
Yes. Dried pastas, I tell everybody to put in the fridge. Okay. They'll last a couple weeks, no problem. As far as the egg dough pasta is concerned, I tell everybody to keep them frozen. I want everybody to enjoy my pasta, and I know that people have different flavors and tastes and stuff like that. My goal was to make sure that everybody loves what I do.
Definitely.
Because I want everybody to love what I do.
And you certainly love what you do.
I do. I'm very happy that the responses I've been getting from my fans are exceptional. And to have been able to start this business and to continue to push forward and try to promote something that I feel is important.
And thank you for giving back to the community.
Thank you.
I think those culinary arts students at Lyman Hall are definitely getting double the mentorship. And Muddy Roots Farm, I'm sure, loves having you there as well. And thanks for giving back. And thanks for coming to the show.
Thank you for having me.
So Nick and Briglio, Passionately Pasta, Artisan Handmade Pastas. Thank you for watching, and bon appetit. If we are interested in purchasing pastas of all of these that we've talked about, Facebook and Instagram are the best ways to direct message you under Passionately Pasta.
Part of the thing I love at the market is I love talking to people about pasta, but I love hearing their questions